Before we begin today, I just wanted to acknowledge that this here is basically the closest we can get to a board with sails in vanilla non-cheat survival. Hurts just a little bit. What is up, the world of the living? My name is Lex and welcome back to Truly Bedrock. Friends, why am I like this? Why am I like this? How do I live with myself? How do I sleep at night? Of course, I'm talking about the melon farm, the pumpkin farm we made 2 episodes ago. First and foremost, I pointed out that there is a problem with it where the blocks, the pumpkins, will just jump over the gap in the middle and run into the water stream of a pumpkin cell in the, on the opposite side. And you guys were smart enough, once again, proving that my comment section is way smarter than I myself am, and pointed out that if I just use glass bars instead of the... Oops, that is unfortunate. instead of the signs which I was using back then, I would have been just golden and everything would have worked out perfectly fine, which it did after I started doing that. So yeah, kudos on this one. You guys win. Right after I was done installing all the glass panels, I started pondering, is there a way for me to improve this design even further? Because some of the pumpkins, I noticed, would get stuck in this particular water piece. It's not a water block much, because that's not a source block despite what it looks like. This is actually a downwards flowing water. Yeah, downwards flowing water stream. That the pumpkins sometimes will just get stuck because guess what? It doesn't have a direction anywhere. It has a downwards direction, and so every pumpkin just ends up in it. And what I realized was that I might have skipped out on a very good design for this exact system by putting the pumpkins the way they are currently to the side of the main water stream in the middle. I basically made everything way too complicated for myself, in a situation where I could have just taken this particular design for the pumpkin harvesting cell and stacked this one after another in a cascading way. And what? Okay, I have no words. This is what we have on the server at the moment. This single cell repeated one after another to the side from one another, to left and to the right of the main delivery water stream. But what I realized is that the problem with the pumpkins stopping in the downwards flowing water is easily solved if that downwards flowing water also is flowing somewhere. So basically, instead of direction being downwards, if the direction is downwards and sideways, then the pumpkins are not gonna get stuck. Believe it or not, they will just fly over. So all we need to do is stack this design one block and slightly to the side, and the water stream hydrating the soil and waterlogging the repeaters suddenly becomes itself the main delivery line, which basically eliminates the need for this entire 90-degree solve. Why did I not think about it? I honestly have no idea. So that is what we'll be doing for the melons. Even though, honestly, if I were to choose between having a more productive pumpkin farm and more productive melon farm, I would take pumpkin farm every day. Mostly because they produce more podzol as they decompose, as they are put in the composter. Not podzol, more bone meal as they are put into the decomposter, and also because they're just more useful in the long run, which actually makes me think a design for a pumpkin farm and for a melon farm are generally one and the same. I probably could just sneak into this one and swap all the pumpkin stems for melon ones instead of rebuilding the design. Hey look, that piece of wall that I was too lazy to block off turned out to be a fairly alright maintenance patch. Until the water updated, because of course. Alright, last one of them swapped, and I think we successfully depumpified this pumpkin farm. Oh, what a joy. Oh, what a joy. Actually, I need to double, quadruple, triple check later in the creative if pumpkins really do produce more bone meal in the compost as compared to the... Oh, melons are already coming in. Oh dear. See, whenever basically I make a pumpkin melon farm, there's this thing about them is that the melons, per one melon you get 3 or 4 melon slices, meanwhile per one pumpkin you only get 1 pumpkin. So it only really makes sense for pumpkins to produce more bone meal pieces in the composter, while melons kind of are more convenient for villager trading. With the farmers, I mean. Alright, let's give it an honest try. 64 melons in here, 64 pumpkins in here, and let's see the madness. Let's have a bone meal race. Actually, yeah, the right one seems to be filling in tiny bit faster, though because of how random it is, they seem to actually fill in at the same approximate rate. This is bizarre. Oh well. How are we doing on the front? Yeah, 14, 14, yada 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 yada. And on the output we ended up with 6 on the pumpkin side, 5 on the melon side, and nearly full composter on the right, and somewhat half of a composter on the left. This is not definitive, not in the slightest. And once you factor in that you get several melon slices per melon harvested, I don't even know how the two farms would have compared. I really don't know. Which kind of does not matter anyway, because we're getting both. Although, I owe it to science to Google this. Literally half a minute of Googling later, the Minecraft wiki says that placing one single slice of melon into a composter has a 50% chance of raising the composter level, which is actually what makes the bone meal eventually. Meanwhile, placing a pumpkin into a single composter will also raise it 50% at like 50% of the time. So yeah, melon farms will fill in composters faster, at the very least, more or less. Makes you think, really. Makes you think. Oh well, I still want a big pumpkin farm for myself. So, back to the survival. Here we have the first try of the entire thing. Basically has a goal of, wait a flipping second, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 7. This should have been 8, mind you, but whatever. We'll place a block here for now, it's fine. Alright. No, that's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea for so many reasons. Let's put a block here too, to make sure that it's less terrible idea. Okay. Let's see how water reacts to this. Wow. Yep. Didn't even hesitate. Flushed the entire system. Okay, no, lesson learned. We need to go with 4 as our step. Because if we have a step of more, which is here, we have a step of 7, it just doesn't work. It just does not work, does not recognize the shortest path to the drip down, which, yeah, that's why that there works so well, is because it easily recognizes the shortest path and it doesn't spill over to the sides. This one though, yeah, it really does. Attempt number 2, and yeah, I instantly did it wrong. Wow, that's impressive, really. It's like, how'd you manage? What were you drinking? Alright, anyway, regardless, that's beside the point. This can be blocked off for the time being. It's fine, we're not in any particular hurry. This can be removed, and an ice block should also actually be placed up here. And after we do it, everything seems to be working out pretty great. Yeah, on its own. Would you look at that? Please ignore the fact that why is this happening? Oh, because there's no downwards thingamajiggery. Yeah, it's fine. We'll add the downwards thingamajiggery tiny bit later. What are you looking at, Buster? I'll see you make a better melon farm. Well, it's now much later and yeah, that's a unit. Yeah, an absolute lad. Anyway, I have a pumpkin farm now. It produces pumpkins. Occasionally. Actually, it produces plenty of pumpkins. It's just not all of them make their way into the water streams. I mean, look at this. What is this? Come on, get in the water. And off you go. Off you pop. Into the chest. Yeah, basically the pumpkin farm is producing pumpkins. It's actually even delivering some of them back into the chest. So some of the runoff, I don't mind. Even though the losses are at this point piling up and being incredibly disturbing. Wow. Yeah, pistons are so unreliable nowadays. Anyway, we knew that. We knew it all already. We don't really have a choice in this matter, unless we want to use the technology of those hopper minecarts I hear so much about. Or somebody suggested flying machines. No, sorry, Mr. Commenter guy, I apologize, but flying machines are even less reliable than the hopper minecarts, as I discussed in the previous videos. But what's important is that the pumpkins are filling into the system. The melons have piled up and are currently all going into the composter, and we are as close as we're gonna get to actually having this farm function perfectly. Allow me to explain. Before all of these chests fill up, the farm is not functioning at its full capacity. Before all 3 sugarcane chests fill up, before the hoppers behind them fill up, before the everything else fills up, this farm is not producing bamboo at its full capacity, which is what we ultimately want. Lister, need I remind you, this all is just to make a bamboo farm. And yes! I'm glad you asked. It is just because we don't have zero-tick super efficient bamboo farms here on the Bedrock edition. Aren't you glad that that bug isn't in this game? Anyway, I'm gonna kinda cheat on this at the moment. What I will do... Hi, pumpkin! What I will do right now is I'm gonna block off the remainder of this farm. No more pumpkins can go in here. Even more so, I'm gonna block... I don't care. See if I can. I will block off this one too. You don't get to go into this hopper anymore, Mr. Pumpkin. You go directly into this hopper back here. And then, of course, ultimately, into this, whatchamacallit, into this composter. And then into bone meal. And then farming our, whatchamacallit, our bamboo. Which, yeah, the rate of bamboo production... Oh, hi, it ticked just there. It is there, but it ain't great. And I ultimately need to pull a little bit of a judgment. See, the problem with these designs is that my own ultimate greed pushes me to build them higher and higher and higher and higher. And really, they are basically expandable. I can basically mirror the entirety of my pumpkin farm to the left right now, like towards that direction. I won't do it per se, I will maybe just expand it upwards, but even before I make that decision, I need to pass a judgment on whether or not I consider the current bamboo production rate efficient or good. So to do that, I suggest we also do a little bit of a test. So let us disconnect this from here and try actually doing what we always wanted to do with our bamboo. Let's attempt to actually smelt something using this farm. This is gonna be terrible, isn't it? Yep! Okay, you can hear the clicking, you can feel the bamboo coming in. But it's just not there. We need like 3 times this rate to be able to efficiently produce it. This is embarrassing. This is terrible. Oh wow. Alright. I was prepared. I was ready morally for this being bad, but I never expected it to be this bad. It's like once per minute tops, and even then it doesn't even smelt. Oh wow, yeah, no, I can't power a super smelter with that. Need a bigger production line. Need a bigger everything line, really. Oh wow. So, what do I hear you ask? Well, I feel it's best to refer to the good old saying that everything worth doing is worth overdoing. And really looking at the three of them currently working, I don't feel there's any way for me to overdo pumpkins. Okay, there is a way for me to overdo pumpkins. There's not a point for me to overdo pumpkins. Pumpkins are pumpkins. They, once again, harvest 1-to-1 and are inferior to melons if the wiki info is to be believed. At the same time, cactus farm is entirely encased in a hill. Expanding the cactus farm is gonna be a headache and a problem, and I don't want to do that. So really there's only one remaining thing to do, and that is expand the melon farm until it actually produces enough melons to just constantly load this hopper with a slice. Or maybe with two, we'll see. So yeah, thankfully we literally just, well, I want to say invented, but I kinda hesitate to use that word. We literally just figured out a way to make that melon farm tiny bit differently and way easier, because believe it or not, this way of this different design of farm actually is way easier to build than this one, much more compact one. So yeah, I'm just gonna take one of these and plop it right on top of that giant thing. Encasing this entire conundrum in a bigger build will be an incredible task. And honestly, I am so up to the challenge and absolutely looking forward to it. Wow, do I love the way this looks. I don't know, something about this diagonal design is just like really interesting for me. It could actually be incorporated into some sort of a either really modern or the other way around, like really mechanical, really oppressive build. But here, of course, it will be entirely covered eventually after I'm done tweaking and adjusting it. Basically, there are 4 modules of in this particular bit that I added, and these 4 modules incorporate approximately, well, not approximately, exactly 62 pistons, 62 pumpkin stems, 62 62 repeaters. Basically, I made it a goal for myself to plop a stack of the cells for the melons, sorry, not pumpkins. And yeah, we ended up with this. It looks pretty cool, it works pretty cool, it's constantly going off, not just this, but like the beast underneath it too. And at the same time, it is so freaking slow. Like you'd think that it would be reliable, but because of the amount of melons that will end up on the side of the water stream and not inside of the water stream, there really isn't a consistent flow. Sometimes it overflows by like 3 or 4 slices at a time. Sometimes it drips by 1. Sometimes it just freezes. It is reliable, but not in a way I can showcase. And that's just blah, really. And honestly, I'm getting the impression that like no matter how much I tweak it, it's just not gonna be a consistent stream. So we are better off creating some sort of a system that will just make sure that the bamboo doesn't come in one by one. If we want to provide enough bamboo for a super smelter, what we might want to do is provide it into the system at a chest full at a time. So I sketched out something like this. Yeah, with the dropper instead of a chest, simply because a dropper is easier to fill. So imagine if it's empty, nothing happens. But if we fill it up, you see, oh, this one suddenly dropped. Why, wonder why? But we fill it up fully. And as soon as we drop in their last stack, this piston activates, pushes the redstone block downwards, and the item hopper suddenly unlocks. And if, instead of this silly thing here, we have a double chest, then this hopper will start rapidly taking stuff out of the double chest as soon as the piston drop downs. So that creates a situation in which we get ourselves a double chest, and once it fills up entirely, that's when the hopper activates and starts sucking items out. And once it's fully empty, the hopper is locked back until the double chest fills in back up. I feel that's a pretty freaking nifty system I got there. It needs some ironing out, but as soon as I'll figure out some more kinks in the system, some more tweaks for it, I will definitely be installing something amongst these lines, except obviously more compact and less redstone tangly. Basically, I would love to explain this to you, but there's really not much to explain. Comparator compares to this redstone signal of basically 15. This is basically the comparator that goes, I wonder if this chest is full. And this comparator just is a comparator, and it's connected to a NOT gate, also known as redstone torch on the other side of the block. This comparator basically goes, I wonder if the chest is empty. And that's just about it. That's just how it works. I feel it's a very weird workaround in a situation where the obvious solution is just build a bigger farm, you idiot. But it won't hurt, honestly. Even the biggest farm might clog up, might break, something might go wrong. And at the same time, the problem with the designs I currently have, the biggest one I feel, is that they have a lot of randomization connected in it. I need to remind you, the chance of, like, no matter how many pumpkin or melon slices I get into the system, the chance of them raising or not raising the layer of the podzol inside of the composter is always 50-50. So there is a chance, in theory, that you can throw a stack of things in there and it just might not contribute to the composter whatsoever. Basically, we need to kind of add a little bit of insurance to it. And I feel like we have that insurance figured out right here. I honestly am kind of impressed how easy this was for me to figure it out. But yeah, anyway, it's not about me basically making myself sound smarter than I am. Especially when obviously on the market of the YouTubes, there gotta be something just better made than this garbage. I mean, come on guys, this is just an embarrassment. So this is what I'll be doing in the meantime. I might live stream building more layers of the pumpkin/melon farm. I might do some of the redstone of the live stream. I might keep it all off screen. I'm sorry, I'm not sure about this project just yet, but I'm really happy that it's coming together, and I'm incredibly happy that we're at a stage where we can start thinking about the super smelter for it. And that's basically what was the end goal this whole time. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for today. Thank you everybody so much for watching. This has been SlackLizard with this has been Truly Bedrock. To be continued. Have a good one. Bye bye.